Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Codex podcast. I'm your host, Sonny Kruger. With me, as usual, is my co-host, Jamie Wojcik.
How is it going, everyone? Episode 21. It's me and Sonny again, so who knows what's going to happen? Let's see how much fun we can have today.
Yeah, it's been a little while since it's been the two of us, but we're back again, and we got some big old comic news involving Shang-Chi 2, Masters Universe, Blade, M.O.D.O.K, and then, we have our works because something happened.
Yes, it did.
Like Jamie and Tam, and I'm very excited to talk about it.
Something extravagant, some improv, and
yes,
a couple of beers later, and we figured it out.
All I have to say is the Ostrich is what I'm very excited to talk about. We'll get onto that later. We have Do You Know? We have some interesting questions for Jamie. I'm sure he's got some interesting ones for me too. Our topic of the week. Which comic event still has lasting effects on comics today? And finally, we will be reviewing Deathlok #1, The Wolf is at the Door.
Yes, sir. Okay. It's a little fun-filled fact for the day, man. It's got a lot going on, and can't wait to talk about all of it. And now that back just being two of us right now for this episode, it feels right.
Yeah. I thought we missed Tim, and we look forward to having Tim back on the show. It's been a while since it's been the two of us the usual way. So I'm glad to have you back. Glad for it to be you and I going back and forth at each other again.
Oh yeah, we're doing that. So
yep. Now let's get into that. Jamie, earlier in the week, you let me know, you sent me an article that Shang-Chi 2 is in development. Now, I still get to see the first one, but I think it's no surprise that a Shang-Chi 2 is in the works. And well, it was very popular, and a lot of people are saying it was really good. I'm hearing some mixed reviews about it, but without a doubt, this is popular, and I think it's no surprise that there is going to be a Shang-Chi 2. What do you think about the news?
What do I think about Iron Fist 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I went into the movie like when I saw it. Us as people that actually like read comics and follow the lure and the pop culture of it all, we got to go into those movies with the sense of not everything's gonna be accurate. Well, we got like Iron Fist and Shang-Chi, the first one, which is fine. It to me, it still was a good movie to go see. It just wasn't a Shang-Chi movie. And if you guys go back a couple episodes ago and see our review of the very first appearance of Shang-Chi, you will understand why. As far as Shang-Chi 2 being in development, they already said before, Feige came out and said that he's going to be one of the primary players moving forward within the MCU, especially having that, well, we can't say ground mentality of a character like a Hawkeye or a Black Widow, but that martial artist mystic realm kind of thing aspect to it, I guess. But yeah, it's no surprise Shang-Chi 2 is going to be probably coming out within I'd probably say 2 years, no less. There's going to be an event. There's going to be another Avengers movie, and then he's going to be brought in, and then we're going to move into there. So
yeah. One thing I'm hoping, because even though I haven't seen the first one, which I can almost bet that he does not do, like that when we read the first appearance of Shang-Chi, that part in the comic when he chops the old man.
Dude, you know what? Like,
I hope they have that in the second movie.
I hope they have it I hope they have it just in general. Like him just walk up and be like, "Gata!" And then it'd be done because that's what exactly happened. And he killed an old man with a karate chop to the face. But yeah, I mean, he's the master of martial arts. But we're going to get into another master, and that's the Master of the Universe trailer 2 coming out. There it has. That's the Kevin Smith one that Sonny before already did not like. I watched it. I have no recollection of what happened in the first one because I didn't see any of it, because I think if you guys watched that episode that we talked about it on, I was waiting till it was all over. As far as I'm concerned, it still looks good to me. It's a different take. There's still a lot more that's happening. So I give Kevin Smith a lot of credit for what he does. He goes in depth with characters. He tries to manipulate everything, especially from his stories that he writes, the comics he's done. So as far as it goes, Sonny, I guess you're the verdict on this one because this is something I have not watched yet, and I was waiting to binge. I did catch Squid Games. I finally finished that. If you haven't seen that,
Oh, well, there you go. Hey, you were giving Tim some trouble the other week about it when he said
I
he was
was.
watching it.
I was because you know what? When you're sitting at home and you don't feel good and you're sick and you're like, well, let me turn some background noise. Because here's the thing: I haven't trained in like 3 days, so I'm completely and utterly upset with myself. But the kids there, they have a kids class earlier in the day. That bleeds into when you come in, and every time at the end, the kids are like, "Let's do red light, green light, like Squid Games." And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, this is like a kid thing. Like, why are we talking about this? Come to find out, I was completely wrong. Whose parents are letting their kids watch this? I was like,
Isn't it
oh my
supposed to be
God.
like kids' games, but they get killed for
Yes.
losing?
Like, I mean, grotesquely killed. Not like, oh, he just got shot in the arm. His head exploded. Like, no, whatever. It's not me. I'm not a parent. Can't really tell anyone what to do when it comes to parenting. But I can say this. Yeah, I liked it. But
There you
back to
go.
the original. We're going on a tangent here. Let's not do that. Are you
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
guess
watching Master of the Universe part, the second part that Kevin Smith's putting out? Yes
it's
or
gonna
no?
take it's gonna take me a long time. If I get to, it's gonna be a long time because I said I haven't watched the first. I'm so behind in episodes of so many shows, and I'm like, I need to get caught up on my superhero shows before getting to Squid Game or anything. I'm like, I need to go see, uh, Captain Falcon, the Winter Soldier. I need to get to Loki. I need to see the boys. I'm very behind, so like I need to see all those
Oh
shows
my
before I
God.
start continuing other shows. But yeah, Masters of the Universe Revelation trailer 2, to me it almost seems like a bait. It took a little bit. Not I don't think as much as the first season, the first part,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's kind of like maybe at the end of the first episode, then it will suddenly be like, oh, we brought Prince Adam back, and then
I said that at the beginning. Like, he's coming back. It's just like comic book lore
yeah,
itself. If someone dies or someone goes missing, they're gonna be brought back sooner or later. It
yeah,
might take a couple years, but they still do.
but they'll come back even too. But the one thing that got me was when he suddenly says in the trailer that he doesn't need the sword. He's just had the power inside of him this whole time, and he becomes like
We all have
just
the
in like
power
a Hulk
inside of us.
version of He-Man. Yeah, but I was almost thinking. I think sometimes in comic books now, or more, not too sure about comic books now, but more in movies
Mm-hmm.
and shows now, it seems that every character now just has it in them, and everybody's just super powerful. Even to like the Wonder Woman movie that I found like that the first one she struggled and she learned, and
Mm-hmm.
like eventually she comes through in the end, right?
Right.
But it seemed like the second one, it was like everything was just so easy for her. It showed as a
Yeah,
little
we don't
girl,
talk
she
about the
was just
second
way
one.
better. So
No one talks about the second
I'm
one.
seeing, yeah,
Wonder Woman doesn't
I
even
can
talk
see
about the second
why.
one.
Yeah, they're like, okay, Wonder Woman and now Wonder Woman 3.
Yeah, that's all it's
But
gonna
yeah,
be.
like I said, I almost hope that too many shows and movies don't go this way where everybody just has this unlimited amount of power, because then it kind of takes away the characters who truly have like this amazing power if everybody has it.
Yeah,
But
it's a cool. I do like that aspect. Sometimes there's a lot of heat for like Nightwing because he got shot in the head by KG Beast. Spoiler, it was like a year ago. Um, Lost all of his memory, became Rick Grayson. Everyone hated that storyline. I enjoyed it because of the fact that it's different. How many times are you gonna go through with the same Dick Grayson storyline? You know what I mean? He's been
yeah,
around forever. You need to do something different. But then, like I said before, and I've said it plenty of times, people want change, but then once people get change, they want it to stay the same. So
yeah,
you're never making anyone happy, even when you try to bring a different perspective into it. So to me, like I said, I'm gonna wait to the end. I'm gonna see everything, and then I'll make my judgment. I can't watch one episode and be like, I hate this or I enjoy this, because then it'd be wrong for me to do. I could tell you my opinion on a first episode, but I'm not gonna give you like a full on like you should watch it or you shouldn't until I see the full thing.
yeah. And like you said, there's always gonna be somebody who complains. There's gonna be people who like things, and eventually, like I said, that's why everybody has opinions. Some people like this, some people like that.
Right.
But we'll see what happens. And one thing that we're talking about that is a rumor that Marvel put out there, that's been put out there on Halloween. And I think a lot of people are going to like it. Maybe there'll be some who don't, but I'm interested when I hear the rumor that Jim Carrey is going to play M.O.D.O.K in the MCU. Jim, what do you think about
Oh my
Jim Carrey
God.
playing
All
M.O.D.O.K?
I can really say right now is I don't know what to say, honestly. Trying to think right now on what I want to go with, because here's the thing. We had the M.O.D.O.K cartoon on Hulu. And I know you probably haven't watched that either.
No, only
And
previews.
I know. Was it Patton Oswalt was the voice behind him? And to me, it was great to have a sense of humor behind the character. Because in spoiler alert again, Marvel Avengers, the game that came out more than a year ago, he is the main protagonist in the game.
Protagonist or antagonist?
Protagonist, is that right?
He's the good guy?
Antagonist is the bad guy.
And yeah.
Antagonist. I'm sorry.
Okay, so it's okay.
Protagonist is the good guy. Pro good, anti bad, right? Yeah. Antagonist. It was antagonist. Thank you for the quick work up there, Sonny. I needed that. Mine's still in sinus virus
I'm a
mode.
writer. You're sick, and I'm a writer, so I should be the one who corrects that.
Please do.
It's on me. If I don't correct it, then it's on me.
Oh yeah, that'd be horrible. Well, whatever antagonist we have now. But no, as the antagonist in that story, he wasn't funny at all. He was just straight diabolical and ready to take out everybody. I do like the funnier version, like the little quirks. Like if it was like M.O.D.O.K as Venom, I think it'd be perfect. You get a little bit of both sides. And I think if Jim Carrey finally makes his way into like the superhero world, we don't count Kick-Ass. That never happened. But if we count him in M.O.D.O.K, I think he'd be perfect. Just don't give him the big head like they did in Green Lantern when he's supposed to have an oversized head and be in a chair.
Yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, because one thing, M.O.D.O.K, I'm just always is like a kid, always seen the character, and I've always thought that he looked like a silly character. He's this huge head, but later on, like, obviously he is. Yes, he's a very powerful villain. We know that, but I think it's good to give the character a little bit of humor, like you said that the show on Hulu gave him, because I remember seeing previously, like, okay, that kind of goes more with the character. I think it makes him a little more likable as opposed to here's this super evil head with little arms and legs. Where I think it's good to, I think with Jim Carrey playing him, if he does go forward with it being Jim Carrey and being M.O.D.O.K, bringing M.O.D.O.K into the MCU, it's good to have him be, yes, he's a villain, yes, he's very powerful, but two, to learn to laugh a little bit at yourself, to learn to laugh at the character. And
right.
I think they'll do a good job. I think Jim Carrey will be a great person to do that. Although we know him as usually always doing these comedic roles, and I love many movies he's been in, but he's played a few serious roles, and I think if he needs to get serious for some parts, I think he can.
What was it? The number 23? That was super serious. Everything.
Yeah, he's very serious in that.
Yeah.
The Truman Show had its 20 parts, but he was more serious in the Truman Show too.
Yeah. Well, Sonny, I'm just gonna let you know that I usually watch my shows at night, which segues into our next bit of news.
Oh yeah,
Moon Knight and the introduction of Blade.
That is big. Yeah.
Now I don't know if this is confirmed, and I don't know if it's a rumor. I got I think you and me both on that article actually. And I think it was from Comic Book CBR, so Comic Book Resource, which usually is on the ball with everything, but I didn't really get any feeler if it was a rumor or confirmed. But to have Blade show up in Moon Knight, or even a side character right now, would be fantastic for not only Moon Knight, but it'd be fantastic for the Blade adaptation of the movie. That way we get a little bit of content beforehand, before we lead into the movie, to see how the character moves, feels, reacts, who he really is. It was the same thing in my mind. I would love to see how this happens, almost as if when we seen Punisher and Daredevil for the first time in the TV series.
If that's what I was thinking of.
That work it like that, and I think it'd be amazing. Because then what happened after that? Punisher got his own series. They moved on. But now we got Blade, who's already established. We already know the movie's coming out. You have him, and now we can push him right in. get that feel, get that idea, see if he's lopping heads like no other, and then move on. That way, when we get the movie, we kind of have the idea of what we're getting walking into it. I don't know, Sonny. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, pretty similar to yours, but like I said, yeah, like it's a good way to get everybody introduced to Blade. Obviously, those some of us, like, we know him, and I love the Blade movies before, the ones with Wesley Snipes, especially Blade 2.
Is that the
But
one where he has eyes closed and they painted his eyes over his eyes?
no, that's 3. That
Is
is
that
3
3? Okay.
with the CGI eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's. But Blade 2 is the one that's like super good, and has Ron Perlman's in there as well.
Mm.
But Mahershala Ali is Blade. I think he's going to do a phenomenal job. He's just such an incredible actor, and I think as soon as, even if they see him for one episode of Moon Knight, we're going to be convinced that he is the true next Blade. And I hope he's in multiple episodes, but I think all it would take is a one time seeing him to get everybody pumped for the Blade movie that is still set to come out next October.
Yes.
Well,
And
technically
perfect for
we're
around
November now.
Halloween. Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, so only 11 months away
Only.
from Mahershala Ali is Blade in the movie. But yeah, and I think that definitely is good for the show. Blade is a more known character than Moon Knight. I mean, like right now among comic fans, Moon Knight is very known, but let's say for the average fan, people still know Blade more.
Mm-hmm.
But to have two of these superheroes, these more darker heroes, that do things more, like I said, at night, they're not so much just fighting in outer space or things like that. They're more violent, where I think them together on a show is definitely the smart move to do, and it makes me definitely look forward to the show as well.
Yeah. I mean, Moon, like you're alluding to, like Moon Knight not being a well-known character. I don't know what happened in the past, 5 years, but he's become one of those underlying characters that everyone talks about and nobody cares for. Like there's
like almost like a Darkhawk a little bit.
There's a line, and either you're with them or you're against them. You're not in between. And I think that's awesome, because we'll see how that line holds once the show comes out and people starting to jump over and be like, I loved him since the very first episode. Well, what about the actual series? What do you mean series? What series? And then you get those people and you're just like,
What's a comic book? He was a comic character.
Yeah, he was in Marvel. Is this why he's on Disney Plus? I thought it was.
Did he ever fight Superman?
Why is he best friends with Batman?
Yeah,
But yeah, as far as Blade, I mean, I gotta admit, he has been cosmic, because I think it was like 3 issues of Avengers ago. He was in space driving
wow,
hell car around with a baby man thing attached to him that thinks it's his dad. So that it got a little crazy for a minute there. I mean, now we're dumbing down, but we got crazier with somebody else.
But it sounds very out there, but I gotta be honest, it kind of makes me interested to want to check that out, to see Blade in space with the baby man thing.
Yeah, I'll send you over the issues. I think it was right before the new World Breaker Hulk, the She-Hulk.
Oh, okay.
I think is the story before that. I think it's the Star brand storyline for Avengers.
And it is Avengers, so
yeah, because he's an Avenger now, and you gotta watch out for him.
Everybody's I'm trying to think who hasn't been an Avenger now.
Squirrel Girl. No, she was West Coast Avenger. Never mind.
Wait, Mephisto. Has he been an Avenger yet? Hopefully not.
He's beaten the Avengers, so they probably were like, "You're an honorary Avenger now since you beat us."
Yeah.
So.
All right, yeah, but now when we're talking about the Knight and everything, and Moon Knight and Blade, and speaking of somebody Blade hates, Jamie, I know we have to talk about this. I know we've been very excited about this. Morbius.
Why do you say
Morbius 2 Morbius trailer number 2 came out the other day, and well, to me, so now we got a couple days ago. It's like, oh, there's going to be a new trailer tomorrow. Then the next day happens, and there's the Morbius trailer number 2. For me, the beginning of the trailer seemed more different. You've seen a little more different clips, but still pretty much the same story that the first trailer told you. And then the end of the trailer seemed to me kind of like almost the same things. So, okay, maybe now you saw him jumping a little more. But I want to see the movie. I'd like to see the movie, but I don't think the second trailer got me as excited as I was expecting it to. Especially, like I said a couple weeks ago, with DC fandom, like the Batman trailer number 2 got me really excited, really pumped for it.
And that was absolutely different. Like there was a couple scenes that were from the first one, but most of it was new.
Yeah, like too, we got to see a lot of the Penguin, we got to see a lot of Catwoman. Whereas Morbius, it feels like I think the only new character that was introduced that I remember they had a lot more screen time in this trailer was Tyrese Gibson's character.
Again, another person I hate. So two people in this movie that I can't stand more than anything, and I'm probably gonna go seeing it. So
Yeah, I was like, it was okay, maybe I'll get a few more people excited, but I don't think it's gonna have the response that people like they originally wanted. So if you release the next trailer, you want way more people excited about it. To me, it felt very similar to the first trailer. And Jamie, I know you probably really I could see you just getting ready to jump out of your chair with excitement.
I don't know
Tell
about
us about
jumping.
Jared Leto as Morbius with co-star Tyrese Gibson.
Okay, so compared to the first trailer, a lot of recycled scenes, and there was there. I want to say about a 75%. I'd say 80% even was recycled scenes from the first trailer. We got a couple new looks. Tyrese Gibson's crybaby face is in there. You know, talking to him. I think the only good part about it was the end of the trailer for me when he's sitting there and he's got the guy and he's like, "Who are you?" And he changes his face real fast. He's like, "I'm Venom," and he's like, "Nah, I'm Michael Morbius. Nice to meet you." And he's like holding him. But yeah, everything was basically the same. We got the Michael Keaton look again, which is cool. Like, hey, we're gonna start hanging out, Doc, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. Him jumping a little bit farther, getting a little bit faster, being able to walk. He's dying. He's not now. Bad. Cut hand. Cool. Scene. Cave. We're good. Same stuff. Just mixed up differently. Besides, like I said, the end. So, I mean, I'm gonna see it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The problem I have is now there's two people I hate in this movie, and I don't want to deal with it. No. Is that we're not really getting. There should have been a second trailer, in my opinion. Then we got the same trailer, just everything got kind of cut and moved around. In the editing world, that's called laziness. Which I know very well. But this was just there shouldn't been a second trailer. There should have just been a first. If you wanted a second trailer, you should have added another character in.
Yes, I
You
think they
should
wanted
have added
something.
more of a plot device, other than I'm dying. This is my strategy. This is what I'm gonna try to do. I can jump farther now. The only part I think, well, I take that back. There's one part in there where they're like, "You've been gone for 2 months. No one knows where you were." That was different. That was a different part too.
Yeah, like did a quick little line. At one
Yeah,
point, he's flying in the like around the subway. Did they?
yeah.
Was that
He
in the
jumped
first
in
one?
front
Okay,
of
that
it
was
and
a
he's
little
just
yeah.
like gliding, and I'm like,
Like,
huh?
okay,
Okay.
yeah,
That again, that made no sense, but hey, throw it in there. Why not?
yeah. I can tell that's gonna be one of those parts. He's learning to use his powers. But I think
He
the really
had
thing
the power inside of him the entire time, though.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah. At the end of the movie, they'll figure out he always had it in him.
Uh,
Um, but the one thing is, I wanted to see some kind of villain, like some kind of superhero villain, not like some kind of super villain, not like a regular person who's just like we need to stop him. I was hoping to see another character,
right.
something like that, and then I was like, oh,
They could have thrown
he's
Namor in
got
there for all I cared. He could have came out the water and been like, "I'm stopping you" or something. Like, give me somebody. Give me Squirrel Girl like in there. I don't care. Squirrel Girl beat Thanos. She could beat him.
yeah. So yeah, it would have been nice to have seen more. But yeah, well maybe when there's a trailer 3, they will give us
I
something
don't want a
different.
trailer 3. Stop it 2. I don't want to see the same trailer for a third time. My
Oh,
opinion.
there's gonna be Morbius trailer 3, and
Yeah,
it's gonna
you're
get
gonna.
you so excited.
It's gonna get me so banned from YouTube after going on a rant about it. It's great. Jared Leto's gonna be sending me hate mail.
Well, we shall see what happens in the future with Morbius, Jared Leto, Tyrese Gibson, and all of them.
Yeah.
But like I said, today we didn't have too much comic news. That was
No, we
it.
did
We had
not.
some trailers and talk about what's going on in the Marvel universe or the Marvel MCU. And now we get on to our works. Now,
Ooh.
the past couple of weeks, I say, I've been talking about series about a series, and I said, oh, you know what? I'm not going to be talking about too much. I need to finish it, and I'm finishing scenes every day, completing them. But like I said, I wasn't going to talk about it. But I let Jamie and Tim know. I said, guys, there's a part. My characters, there needs to be some background noise, like something on TV, maybe like a podcast. And Tim and Jamie got on and said, sure, we'll do it. We'll send you a video. And Tim's like, Sonny, I'll send you about a 2 to 5 minute video. And I said, okay. And I get this mail and I open it and I look and it's 25 minutes. But I gotta tell you all, I was laughing for 25 minutes straight, and I'm like, I have to bring this up. I have to bring up what it was called, the Code Z Morning Podcast. And I'm like, Jamie, I'm like, I need to talk to you. I need to ask you about it. Oh, it's about making that, man, because it looked like a lot of fun.
It was a blast doing it. So a couple beers were involved. I'm not gonna lie. But you said you wanted us for like some background noise, and I didn't really know what we were doing. Like, you kind of gave Tim more information because I think I was out that week when you were talking about it originally.
Mm-hmm.
And Tim's like, I think me, you, and him were all in a meeting that day, and we were talking about what we were going to do and blah blah blah. And he's like, hey, Friday after 8:00, we do Sonny's thing? And I was like, okay, cool. So I get on and had a couple beers. So did he. And he's like, I'm just gonna hit record. I had an idea for it was oh my god, it was Procrastinator and Plaid Man. And we'll talk like we're like a morning show, almost like and I was like, oh, almost like a new 52, like News 52 from DC, or like a Gotham Gazette type thing. And he's like, yeah, we need a name though. I was like, how about the Code Z morning podcast? And then we could play off, Codex and blah blah blah. He's like, that's perfect. So we went into it, and dude, that first skit we did, I couldn't stop laughing. Like I was okay. I was okay on that one. But as soon as we got into like the villains of like the Procrastinator and Plaid Man, or Plaid Man and Procrastinator, I was like, it was the Ostrich, the sad clown. Like we were just
the Immortal Egg.
The
Immortal Egg.
The Immortal Egg was great. Then Tim's going off on a tangent, going, yeah, but when he fell, he broke. I'm like, no, he's immortal. He bounced.
Yeah,
and it was a good time. The second one, I believe, was
trashing me.
Yes, we were talking about how horrible all of your books were based on Son-O the writer.
I like the one where you say dead, and you're like, yeah, I felt dead after reading this.
No. I said I wish I was dead after reading this.
Yeah. See, there was.
So we had one where we trashed you, and then the last one was even better because we like idolized you. And the last one, which I'm pretty sure, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm quoting this right now, this is episode 21. We're about 40 minutes in, 30-ish. Sonny will use the last one in the series about a series because it's just talking nicely about him. But we did. I like the guy
who faints. Oh, he was just thinking about how great I am.
Steve, the production manager, fainted in the background. It was great. Good times. Steve, he's okay now. He's got a cast. He wants you to sign it. He said he wouldn't faint this time. So
okay, well, give him a invisible signature, my invisible pen.
Yeah, but no, it was a blast doing it. Originally we were just shooting for like 3 attempts, like 2 minutes. But as soon as we started going, we were just firing at all cylinders, going back and forth. So it came out to like 5 minutes each.
Yeah, it was so good. And like I said, it was hilarious, had me laughing. So I've taken notes. I'm like, okay, maybe I could use this part. I can use this part. And I have quite a few notes because I'm like, okay, maybe but there's a lot. So I really have to decide which is the one I want to use. Because from each skit, 1, 2, and 3, I have quite a few parts. And I'm like, I have to tell you guys, I'm hoping, it's up to you. I'm hoping that you'll eventually just even post those little snippets, even with the Codex podcast, just as a joke. Just at the Code Z Morning Podcast, because those are so good.
Yeah, I'll talk to Tim. I'll have him send me over the file, and I'll get them all set up and squared away. We could do that definitely. Just be like, and then even throw them on your channel too, like our little spoof.
Yeah, for it. And then also too, I'm like, when you were making it, because you made up the Ostrich. You're the one who brought the Ostrich and the Immortal Egg.
Dude, all those, we had no villain's name, no nothing. As soon as I started thinking about like you. And I was like, who's it? And as soon as we started saying villains, I was like, okay, who's some of Sonny's favorites? I was like, well, Penguin, the Ostrich. And that just shot out. And then it was like the sad crying clown, the Joker. And then I even brought up Jared Leto, the Joker, in there, like being a
Yes,
horrible character,
that's
and now their world.
that's one of the parts I've put down the notes. It's like, okay, that's one of the nominees I might use. Is the part when you're talking about you had to be up Jared Leto as the Joker and how bad.
Yeah. And I
Um,
think it was like equivalating it to your book at one point. And
yeah,
what was it? It was the Immortal Egg. That one came from Humpty Dumpty,
yeah,
from Batman. And then I don't remember what the other one was, but I had like 4 or 5. But no, it was just everything was off the cuff. There was no like we talked about what we were gonna say at the beginning, leading in, but we never said how we were structuring the rest.
I
So
think that's what made it so good.
and everything was, like I said, off the cuff. So as soon as we hit you with that intro, like welcome to the Code Z Morning Podcast, and then we were like, great writers, unknown writers based on their books. Today we have Son of the Writer, and then we went from there to I remember most of your books, and I started spitting them out. And after that, there was no like communication between me or Tim on it. We were just going.
Yeah. Or Tim and he's like, yeah, I know who read it. Somebody was it Walter from Romania, and you're like, you
Yeah.
didn't do your research.
Yeah. I'm like, you didn't do your research? I'm like, you gotta stop doing that, dude. You're gonna get me fired. Like,
Yeah, it was so good, and yeah, hopefully those are posted so everyone can check them out and see why we love them so much. But Jamie, I have to say to you, as a friend of yours and as a fan of yours, I have to say because we haven't talked much about it, but with True Colors, you have
oh
a
yeah.
request from a fan. Is I'm hoping that the Ostrich and the Immortal Egg, or at least either all of them, or at least the Ostrich, makes an appearance in your comic book
We
of True
can
Colors.
once I
You
get back
need the
on that.
Ostrich.
I am a busy man these days, and busy as I am, I'm trying my hardest. So we'll see what happens with that. The Ostrich though was just pure bliss if you ever thought about a villain, because I was like, after the whole thing, after we done hit record, me and Tim were talking. I was like, just think about the villain of an ostrich. He just wraps his neck around you, starts pecking you in the back.
Yes.
Did that? We're both laughing.
So like I said, I'm hoping at least in one of the issues of True Colors they fight or there's some kind of mention, there's something of the Ostrich. You made that character, so you I hope
Yeah,
you use him.
yeah. I'm gonna start copywriting that stuff now.
Yeah. Nobody better take the Ostrich from me.
Yeah, nobody take the ostrich. Nobody puts the ostrich in a corner. Nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah, but good times, dude. Yeah.
Good times. Yeah. So
Thank you for letting us do that. That was
uh,
a blast.
thank you guys for doing that. Yeah, it was awesome. I had a blast
Anytime.
listening to it, and I'm definitely look forward to putting it into the show. And so you guys will have credits in there. You will see your names in there, you and Tim.
Finally.
Yeah, so I knew it would happen eventually. And then now, so at least we've talked about it. The series we've talked about the Code Z Morning Podcast. And Jamie, I know you've got to talk about our schedule we've got coming up this week.
Ooh, starting Monday, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a schedule for all of our shows now premiering. We did go through it last week, but we'll go through it again this week, and I hopefully remember because I run the thing. So, you guys haven't checked us out on Facebook yet. We are kind of doing our schedule for past shows that we've done. Like we've done a From the Vault for Monday. Yesterday was a Decoding Panels episode, which is Tuesdays. Today's a podcast live here at twitch.tv/Codex podcast. Thursdays is a miscellaneous day. So whether it's mail calls, pull lists, a random storytelling, or maybe a second short of Decoding Panels, which we are going to be talking about doing shorts here shortly. See what I did there? So Fridays is going to be Codex Gaming live at twitch.tv/Codex podcast again. We might even get a little taste of that tonight because I am currently downloading Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy because I forgot that it came out and I want to play it now. And then Saturdays we're gonna have it's interchangeable with Saturdays. Either it's gonna be a Codex Gaming on Saturday or the Codex podcast on Saturday. Same thing for Sunday. Either it's gonna be the gaming or the podcast edited for YouTube purposes and Spotify and anywhere else you find, podcast platforms. But yes, starting Monday, we do begin, and I am happy because just let everyone know, with Decoding Panels, we have all of our episodes already done, scheduled to the end of the year. So you guys are getting a bunch of episodes scheduled at the end of the year. We're working on next year. We're working on new developments, new segments, new shows, new parts of shows. So even with Codex, with Sunny, we've talked about doing a couple of different things. We're gonna see how they go. If they go well, we'll keep them. If not, goodbye. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we are evolving. We're trying to keep up with everybody else, and we're trying to make it fun for you guys, so you guys don't miss out on any of this content, because we're working hard to put it out for you. And I know the ones that actually are subscribed and don't want to miss. So this is our way of saying thanks.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Yeah, like I said, we're gonna do some big things before 2021 comes to an end.
Oh, with a bang.
Yeah, with a bang. But Jamie, do you know that it's time for Do You Know?
The Muffin Man?
Oh no, well, you ain't wrong.
I mean, I don't personally, but I know people who do. They don't trust him. He sells bad muffins. So
Yeah, I think the Immortal egg would probably be even nicer than the Muffin Man.
they put the Immortal egg inside the muffin, and then it just makes everything bad.
And then the ostrich eats it.
And then it makes the ostrich egg, which is the Immortal egg, and it's just one big time loop. We'll get into it later.
Yeah, the Immortal ostrich.
Yeah, later on. It's like Voltron. They all come together and just create one massive ostrich. It's great. But yes, do I know? I hope so, because I need points.
Okay, would you like to go first? Would you like me to go first?
Let's have you go first this time.
Me ask you first or me answer first?
You ask.
Okay. All right, Jamie. So, which writer in comic books, which is a very well-known writer, was a professional juggler and fire eater?
Claremont.
Answer is Tom Taylor.
Oh, that makes sense. He's that Australian goofball.
Yeah, he was a professional juggler and fire eater.
Yeah,
before he was writing comic books.
The only reason I was thinking that because I was like, you never really talk about any newer, so I'm always like, I'm going straight to X-Men when it's usually your question.
It's usually the safe bet, but yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, you start getting into some newer stuff, especially on like Tom Taylor. We've read his work even to us. You know, looking at since we're doing like Dark Ages and things, so
Right.
learning about I'm learning more about what's going on in the Sanctuary.
Right, finally, we're catching up to today's standards. So Sonny, here's your do you know question. Number 1. So you and Tim went over the first appearance of Hal Jordan. And do you remember what issue that was?
It's that one?
Yeah, you remember the Hal Jordan one that he
Okay.
Do you remember what issue?
Showcase number 22.
Okay, good. Now we're gonna do something a little bit different. And you can give me the comic name. You don't have to give me the issue number, but if you get both right, bonus points for me.
That should be one.
Yeah, right.
Jordan. Okay.
What comic was Green Lantern's Alan Scott's first appearance in?
I will say Action Comics.
No, it was actually All American Comics number 16. So this was the golden age.
Oh, I meant to say that now.
Yeah, right. That was on my mind the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is something that I've been trying to. I mean, I'm never gonna be able to afford it because it's so old, but I want to find it in like a trade. But even the trades, like trying to find that trade is like $500.
And which one was it again? You said which issue?
All American Comics issue number 16.
Oh, okay.
It was the first appearance of the very first time you see Green Lantern. Bonus points. I won't ever use this as a do you know, but do you know what Alan Scott's weakness is as Green Lantern? It's different than the rest of the Green Lanterns.
Because I was thinking the regular one. Now, if you can ask me, it has to be something different. I will just say magic.
No, it's actually wood. If you hit them with wood, you beat the Green Lantern. Just like the modern day Green Lanterns were yellow, you could take them out with a number 2 pencil. It was great.
Wow. That is interesting. Interesting to know now. Listen, now I will make sure not to ever forget wood.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, on to yours, buddy.
Okay. So, Jamie, it's pretty known that there was in the 90s, there was talk of a Tim Burton and Kevin Smith Superman movie, and Nicolas Cage was set to play Superman.
Yes.
Do you yeah. Do you know who Kevin Smith wanted to play the role of Lex Luthor?
I do know this, but I don't remember. Oh my God. I remember watching the video for it. Wasn't it Kevin Spacey to begin with?
There was talks of him being in the movie, but the main actor that Kevin Smith wanted to play Lex Luthor was Michael Rooker.
Oh, what do you call it? Merle
Plays
from
Yondu.
Oh, Yondu.
I was
Yeah.
thinking it was Yondu, yeah.
Yeah. I always think Walking Dead and or not Guardians, but Suicide Squad now. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so he did eventually make his way to DC. So he did eventually make his way to DC.
It just took so many years to do so. That was actually a good one. I'm afraid to ask you number 2 because I think you're gonna get it. Okay. So Sonny, do you know? Well, we all know that Loki is adopted. So the question is, do you know what species is Loki?
He is a frost giant.
That is correct.
Okay, so
you got one.
This one.
See, I always throw like I always feel bad because I don't want to throw in like super all of them. Be like, let's beat him down. It's like let's see if he knows the easy ones too, kind of deal. So I always like. I'm a nice person. I don't know. I have my days.
You're cool. Oh, cool. And now I'm gonna feel bad about this one, but
I know.
One time I did send you the picture of it. So we're going back to that uncensored episode. Remember when Keith gave the question of what instrument does Dr. Doom play? And we found out he plays the piano.
Yes.
And a couple days later, I saw a picture online.
You got what I need. And you say you're just a friend.
What is the song?
Isn't it Bismarcky, Just a Friend?
Correct.
Thank God. I finally
you got that one. Yeah, so the question, do you know what song Dr. Doom was singing? Like you said,
I apologize to everyone's earbuds right now that are bleeding from me singing out loud, or anyone that watches on their TV with a sound bar. I apologize ahead of time.
There you go. You got the one that seemed the most random. You did get it right.
Well, because I remember that one from when we were talking about it. I remember you sending me that picture, and I was just like, I sang it in my head when I got the picture. Like I was like,
yeah,
you say you're just a friend.
Yeah, because even in the part, I think it even has like, you have a need, and it even has the N-E-E-E-E.
All the way through.
You know he's singing it.
Yeah. Good times. Go all the way back to the uncensored episode. Yeah. Look at you. So, Sonny, do you know? This one's a hard one, but I'll give you this. It's a saying or a statement sentence that we've heard. So we'll go from there. Which superhero says, "Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men?" And I will give you hints if need be.
I'm just gonna say Hela.
Okay, no. It is not a female character. I'll give you that because this is a little bit of a hard one. And it is not. He's part of the big two, but he's from a different publisher.
And I'll say Hellboy.
The Shadow.
The Shadow.
But
I'm like, I know you're a Hellboy fan. It's like maybe I'll go with Hellboy.
Okay, sometimes I'm a Hellboy fan. Depends who's playing him. But no, I remember that line from like years ago. And I never remembered who it was until I finally like read it because there was a crossover of Shadow and the Shadow and Batman, and the line was in there again. And I was like, I think the Shadow's Dynamite comics, if I'm not mistaken.
So okay, I'm not too familiar. Okay, cool. So the Shadows. Okay, so that is the end of our Do You Know? Jamie won, Sonny won. So
tied it.
We're tied today, 1-1. And it makes it overall 5-4.
Oh, I got
if we go
4.
back.
I'm happy.
We have to go back into some episodes.
Yeah, right. You're like, when did this happen? Because I
I'm
feel
trying
like
to
I'm at like 5 3/4 at this point. The way we were making them. So,
but either way, yeah, we looks like we have some old episodes to watch. Yeah, now we've been doing Do You Know for a while now.
yeah, we've been doing it for, God,
I'm
7, 8
trying to think
episodes.
I'm trying to think if we started in 13 or not. It's somewhere in my notes, but
13 or 14, I think it was.
yeah, it's one of those.
Do
Yeah, I'll
you
make
know
sure.
what episode we started in?
Oh, I believe it was 13 because I missed 14. 14 was the one I missed. But you and Tim did.
Yeah, me and Tim started it.
I think yeah, the week before I gave you just when I did your questions, and then it was in Tim. Yeah, so but now we're used to just every day getting each other each episode. I give you 3, you give me 3. And it seems that lately we've always been doing 1-on-1 so far for a while.
Yeah, so I mean we're still close, so that's all that matters. No one's been like 3-0.
Yeah, I know. One time, I don't know how I got Tim, and I was 2-0.
Yeah.
But then the next week, was not so good. But now we move on to our topic of the week, which is which comic event still has lasting effects on comics today. And as usual, Jamie has the top 3 answers, or top 3 comments.
Yeah, top 3 comments, and as usual, no particular order. So for starts, we have Craig Sanders who come out to say the ultimate Marvel because they use so much of it in the MCU. That I understand. The Ultimate Universe does have a predominant role in the MCU, as much as many don't want to believe it. A lot of their likeness is in there, so I totally go with that. Understand it.
Sense.
I don't know about in comics itself. I thought this was a good answer for the MCU, though.
Yeah.
Next, we got, I'm going to try to say this as nicely as possible, Koshan Jenkins. I think I said it right. Secret Wars, because that's the origin of how Venom got here, the introduction of Volcana, Spider-Woman, Titania, and the Molecule Man came into his powers before the horrible retcon. I do agree with it being an everlasting because Venom's now one of the most, I don't know, well-liked anti-hero villain heroes. He's all 3.
Yeah. Oh. I mean, look at what movie just came out last month. Yeah.
Exactly. So. As far as Spider-Woman, haven't really gotten much with her. I mean, we've gotten a few good books, a few good series runs, but nothing that stuck. And this one, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the rest of her name because it's all in different language, but it looks like it's Nico. I'm going to just get the first name out the way. Flashpoint and Final Crisis, which led to Doomsday Clock and Death Metal. I think those are great answers because they do also have an everlasting effect. They still went from Flashpoint happening in the 2000s to it affecting now. So, especially Final Crisis, which we know everyone that Tim is in love with that book.
Oh yeah.
But that is our top. He
was very jealous that I have it.
That is our top 3 of the week, as usual. So, Sonny, gotta tell me, bud, what's your thoughts? What do you think is an event that lasted well into comics today?
An event that I wanted to bring up was the Uncanny X-Men. I love my X-Men. So I have to bring up something X-Men issue 101. It starts off at the end of issue 100, but in issue 101 is when we are first introduced to the Phoenix. Phoenix first takes over Jean Grey, and I picked that as an event that still lasts to this day because the Phoenix has gone on from decades and decades and is still really popular, still in so many comic books, movies, TV shows, all that. And even as you've told me not too long ago, or maybe it seems like it hasn't been too long ago, but you were saying how it goes. It's so many characters have had the Phoenix Force now.
They literally had a fight.
Yeah.
Like a tournament.
The tournament, yep.
Which was based on everyone had the Phoenix power and they had to fight each other to see who's the best Phoenix of the Phoenix Force. And then the winner wasn't the winner after all, but it became Echo, who is deaf and uses sign language, is now the Phoenix Force holder. But before that, they came out in Avengers again. I think it was Avengers that said it twice, who redid it. Avengers came out and basically said that it was Thor's mother who was the original Phoenix, and not some mystical thing in the sky.
Okay, so yeah, see, and then that's the thing with comics now. There's so many this and that, because then one place will say, like I said, I haven't heard of that comic where they said it was Thor's mother, but I have like read other parts where they said, oh, that the Phoenix started from the Big Bang and is as old as like the universe. So and now I'm sure, like I said, with the Phoenix, like I said, there's so many different iterations, so many different characters have had it. I was like, man, there's a whole list. Like I said, there was a whole tournament of it. There's a part when the Phoenix went into like 5 X-Men characters in the Avengers versus X-Men, the newer one, and then, but like I said, they try to say that Rachel Summers is like the true Phoenix because she never turned into the Dark Phoenix and held it the longest. But like I said, I picked that event from X-Men issue 101 because, like I said, the Phoenix has gone on. That introduced the Phoenix, and she has still gone on and still, like I said, has so many comics about it, so many events about the Phoenix.
Yeah,
And I still
it's a
think the
character
Phoenix
that
will
just
live a long
ever
time.
lasts. Like that character will not go away.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying it in the terms of the character so popular, the manifestation of it, it just won't, it won't ever go away. And I like that aspect. I don't like it jumping into every character in the Marvel universe, but I do like the fact that it's still predominantly well known that we have the Phoenix.
Yeah. And maybe one day somebody will make a movie where it does the Phoenix justice.
One day.
Yeah, one day.
Maybe the MCU might get a crack at it finally and be like, we did it. And then everyone be like, yay, but it wasn't Thor's mom that was the Phoenix.
Put them in space, have them fight have them fight with the Shi'ar Empire. I want it with all of them. I want to see Gladiator and the Elantra and all of them. But now, Jamie, I'm curious to hear your answer.
Oh my God. Mine is, I have 2 because I couldn't decide which one I wanted to go with because I'm a big DC head and Flashpoint would be one of them. Definitely the fact that everything that happened with Batman played a huge role in the reboot we have now. Moving into Rebirth, and there's an arc called The Button where we see Thomas Wayne again from Flashpoint, and then even Flashpoint being brought into Doomsday Clock was just insane. And obviously for my second one, I'm going to have to go with Blackest Night, because without Blackest Night, we wouldn't have the recovery of all the heroes that we did. Blackest Night, for those who don't know, pre-Blackest Night, Justice League was all the second-rate characters. So like it was like Wally West as the Flash, Kyle Rayner as Green Lantern, Donna Troy as Wonder Woman, Dick Grayson was Batman, and so on and so forth. Like the whole team was just a second hand of either sidekick or second hand character of them. Without Blackest Night, they wouldn't have brought back all those characters, and without Brightest Day that bled into it, we wouldn't have had those characters come back and manifest into who they were now. And that even bled somewhat into the New 52, and it came over to Rebirth, which was the other reboot they did. And now we're at DC Infinite, which still has some of those aspects that bleed in from there to now. Even in the Green Lantern series that I'm reading, I hate the writer to death. I really do. And I will blast this guy every time. I don't want to say his name. But he made like Hal Jordan like the most egotistical brat I've ever seen, because he likes, John Stewart more. But they even mentioned in there, like, there's not that many colored lanterns left, that they were talking about the fight with Necron and then Black Hand. It was just like, oh, it's still relevant to today, which is beautiful. So those are my 2 picks.
Good picks, yeah, good picks from everybody. Like I said, it wasn't like what we think is the best. It's just any comic, event that has still effect on today. And anybody watching, feel free to comment below. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, drop some comments. Drop some comments in the section right now so we could, have a little bit of a duel off and be like, you're wrong or you're right, or we agree or we disagree. Drop them in the comments for the YouTube page. Doesn't matter. Or scream it while you're listening to us on Spotify. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just have some fun. Or Apple Podcast. So
like I said, it was the question of which comic event still has lasting effects on comics today. And we will, in a few days, we will have another topic of the week up as usual. And I
Yes,
say
we
now
will.
it is time we review Deathlok #1. The wolf is at the door. Jamie, I gave this one to you.
I thought you were gonna give it a rating already. I was like, I haven't even done my review.
No.
Now, remember, people, ladies and gentlemen, and Mr. SK, Mr. Cakes behind the camera right now. I am doing these 1 through 5 for the whole story. We're just doing 1 just to fill the gaps. That way we do 2 through, was it 6?
2 through 5, yeah.
2 through 5 for the story arc. So I'm going to grade these individually and then do an overall grade at the end, like I normally do when I read these issues. And we've done them in the past, like Mephisto versus Punisher. I did each one broken down. Everything we've done so far, I've done each issue broken down. So I'm going to keep doing it that way because I like doing it that way and then average it out. So without further ado, into the review. We open with Werewolf, the unit coming on the line, which didn't really have much information about it going in. I noticed this is very 90s heavy with the narration boxes. Like it took up most of the artwork again, which I am never a fan of. And you know that better than anybody else, Sonny. But basically we get Riker, who is going to go on trial for a bunch of crimes that he committed. And Werewolf is going after everybody, quote unquote, that is on his list that's going to be participating in the trial. At one point, we see Deathlok in a tree. He's spying on his own family. He's basically getting told through a system that like who they are, and he's like, "Shut up! I know who they are. It's my wife. It's my kid. Like you don't have to tell me. I know who they are." In the middle with all the narration, which I read everything, so I just put it as a brief summary. So Deathlok writes a heartfelt letter to his wife and son. Basically, this was just telling his origin, how he came to be, with cybertech, how everything happened. Basically telling his wife that he loves her still, that he wants to see his boy grow up, that right now is obviously a bad time, but he's doing everything in his power to become the man he was before. Especially, you know, being a cyborg and having your brain inserted into it kind of puts a damper on that love relationship. So cybertech was shut down, but I always say his name wrong. Dwarman, is that his name in the comic? Dwarman. Yeah. He's overseeing the whole shutdown. Deathlok meets up with Dwarman, only to find that in the warehouse that Werewolf was in there. I keep wanting to say werewolf. I'm stopping myself. Werewolf was in there, and the battle just starts ensuing. Eventually, Werewolf escapes, and Deathlok goes after him. Dwarman had explained that Werewolf is a seeker, hunter, and assassination machine in general. That's what Werewolf's programmed for, and that's what he's going to do, whatever the programming may be. So Deathlok basically goes in, taps into the computer, runs a program simulation to see if Werewolf is lining up with all of the people he's taking out of Riker's trial. And come to find out that it does match up. Anyone that's going to stand trial against Riker, Werewolf is actually taking out. Deathlok finds Werewolf and the battle continues. It ensues. Like I said, we don't really want to give too much away for the ending, especially since we're going into an arc now. And that arc is going to be 4 more issues. So we're going to have 1 through 5 altogether. But for a first issue, I thought the art was cool. I thought it had that Terminator kind of feel and look to it, like especially when he was like tapping into stuff, and it was cool to see. My problem again is those narration boxes. It takes up too much room, kills all the artwork for me most of the time. It had some areas where it was okay, but most of the time it's like 32 boxes in the one panel. It's like we don't need that many. I don't need to know everything. Just give me the rundown. That's all I need. Overall, I gave this one a 7.4, only because I don't know the character that well. Once we get into the arc and establish more on, I'm pretty sure it's going to go up higher. Just right now, it's just that first issue wasn't one that blew my socks off. So
Okay, so Jamie gives Deathlok number 1 is 7.4. For me, like I said, I've always been a fan. I wanted to get into the character, so I got this trade right here, and it is called, Deathlok: The Souls of Cyberfolk, and it starts at issue 1. It goes on 1 through 15. So
Is that 1 through 14 and an annual?
1 through 15 in an annual.
Okay, 1 through 15. I thought it was 1 through 14. My bad.
No problem. But yeah, so I got into it, and then obviously issues 2 through 5 are the Souls of Cyberfolk. So I said, why only give you issues 2 through 5? I might as well give you the first issue, because it obviously gives you more background on the character. Like I said, his life. You can see him, like I said, as you were alluding to, he's watching his family. He says, I won't see them until I'm back in my normal body. It tells you, like, basically who Deathlok is, what he wants, what he's trying to do. And the one thing I would say, because I was interested to hear what you think about it. I love, like, the 90s style and everything, but
Yeah.
there was a lot of the narration, especially when he talks to his computer, when he has his computer tell him things. Sometimes I was fine with it if it says a quick little thing, oh, it's this, it gives him some info. But sometimes you would see a long,
Yeah.
Paragraph of kind of explaining, like, they're in this building, like, okay, I don't need that much.
Like, I definitely understood it though when it was like his letter to his wife and kid. That was fine. I understood that 100%. You need to do that. That's building towards something more. But when it came into that computer aspect, and it was like every breakdown, everything he was doing, it was like, we don't need that. We could see it through the art.
Yeah, for me, that was the biggest problem with it, was the so much from the computer. I said, I'm someone, I don't mind narration. I actually like it a lot. With, like I said, especially his letter to his wife, to his son, that I like. Like I said, I like the artwork. I thought it was pretty, very cool. I like the story. I'm interested. Okay, I'm interested in the character. This makes me want to read more of his story. I liked his battle or his 2 battles he had with the Warwolf. And for me, especially, I did like the ending. So we don't want to give it away, but I like the ending. I thought it was a touching ending. I'm like, okay, that's how you end a comic. I really was satisfied with the ending. I'm a big fan of this character, this start of his, his series. And I give Deathlok number 1, The Wolf is at the Door, an 8.9.
Big difference, but hey, I appreciate it. I do. Like I said, it was just, I'm grading them all, like I said, through order. I think the art looks good. It's 90s, but it is a different aspect of the 90s art, which I really did dig. I think it was just the narration again that just took everything away from me. Like, there's times where it could have just been told through story, and it wasn't. Like, or not through story, but through the artwork itself. So
Yeah,
but that's what happens when it comes to those times. I mean, I don't knock it that bad. It's just, it's not my favorite thing to read at that time.
Yeah, so that's right too. Like I said, I was fine with when he's talking, writing letters with the computer, certain things, but sometimes for me a bit too much, and that's what brought my rating down. But like, so other than that, I really enjoyed it, and that's why I give it an 8.9. And then I'm interested for us to continue, maybe next week or possibly the week after. We will do Deathlok: The Souls of Cyberfolk.
Yes, next week will be Souls of Cyberfolk. I can't talk again. The virus going on up here. But yeah, we'll get into that one, and then I will give us our next book to review after that.
Yeah.
So it should be going either way. It's gonna be, I think this one's gonna be a little bit not lengthy, but it'll keep in our range that we normally go to. So yeah, I'm excited. It was a good, hey, like I said, Deathlok 1, good read. I'm not knocking it. It isn't Punished Circle of Blood hatred. It's, I can tolerate it, and I can't wait to read the next one to see if I actually love it.
Well, I'm interested for you to read it, for us to go over it. And with that, I say we can call it a show.
Awesome. So do you want to take this one, or do you want me to? We could take, either one of us take it home.
I think I'll take this one home.
Go for
and
it.
I'll say, everybody, thank you again for watching. And we always appreciate you. Much love and to you guys. As Jamie always says, be kind to each other. And we look forward to seeing you all next week. There'll be next week, remember, is when our schedule will be out. There's gonna be stuff every day coming your way. And like I said, always Wednesdays will be the Codex podcast day. And with that, so we will see you next week. We will be reviewing Deathlok: The Souls of Cyberfolk. That I say good night.
We'll see you guys next week. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any more content. And we got scheduled next week. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Bye.